Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's Kiki, which is just catching up on all things Vanderpump Rules, talking about the latest episode and what is now going on in the streets. But before we dive in, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because a kiki is always better with community. Check out the description box down below and join our newsletter. It is 100% for free, and you get a lot of self-care and self-love and wellness content for free. So with that, let's dive right into the mess. So, Candy Canes, put down your Candy Canes questions and comments about the latest episode, about the show. We're going to run through a couple of articles and stories, and then we'll just keep talking and get into it. So, let's go. All right, you guys. So, first up, let's talk about Kristen Doute releasing Tom Sandoval's text messages, okay? So this is from Reality Blurb. It says, Kristen Doute shares Tom Sandoval's text messages to Ariana after affair, alleges he's gaslighting her, plus she reveals if Ariana has spoken to Raquel. All right, let's get into it. Kristen Doute appeared on Nick Viall's podcast on Thursday, where she opened up about the drama that's taken place between Tom and Ariana in the week since his affair with Raquel was exposed. After blasting Sandoval, who she dated from 2006 to 2014, for blaming Ariana for his cheating and sharing a mean text he sent her about their nearly decade-long relationship. I mean, right now, we are, with Tom Sandoval, like, we are really getting into some narcissistic, sociopathic type situation. Like, how are you sending her mean text messages during this situation? Like, psychotic. But we're going to break it down. We're going to get into it, okay? Here we go. The Vanderpump Rules star admitted Ariana is humiliated as she slammed Raquel as effing dumb with no personality. I believed it was filmed. He was gaslighting her. There was no genuine apology. He was saying how she never supports him. She doesn't validate him. Kristen shared on the March 16 episode of The Viall Files, however you say his last name. He's on like The Bachelor or something, via Entertainment Tonight. He was blaming her. That is Tom to a T. Now, you guys, I am going to have probably a very unpopular opinion on something that happened between Tom Sandoval and Ariana. I'll get into it. It might be unpopular, but even if you don't agree with me, keep hanging with me, okay? Keep hanging with me. Let's keep going. We'll get to it. After being brought back to Pump Rules following her June 2022 firing, Kristen filmed an emotional scene with Ariana during which she shared text from Sandoval. When I filmed with her, she's like crying and holding her phone going, so he's saying our relationship is that of convenience and contentment or something, not love and romance. She said that Tom said this about she and Tom, Kristen added. So basically what Kristen is saying is that Tom Sandoval either said in their little like meeting filming or in the text messages that he sent to Ariana that, oh, you know what? Our relationship was convenient. There was a lot of contempt. It wasn't loving and it wasn't romantic. Okay. Like, that's really harsh and really, really mean, even though it might be true. I mean, we got to call a thing, even though it might be true. That's still unnecessary. Like, you don't have to always say exactly the truth. You don't always have to say exactly what you think and feel if it's not serving a higher purpose. Sometimes, Tom, you could just shut up. Just shut up. You're already broken up. She's already devastated and humiliated, embarrassed. Like, you don't have to add salt to the wound. You know, sometimes you can just let things go. But no, Tom, you had to go and do that. Let's keep going. Okay. Kristen added, and she's immediately just flooding tears looking at her phone going, so all of these memories, all of these wonderful trips we took, all of these videos I have, all of these kissing photos, this was all BS. She's devastated. She's humiliated, Kristen continued. All right. Now, let's get into that real quick. Let's talk about this for a second. So Tom is saying that he felt a lot of contempt and that the relationship was convenient and not one of love and romance. And that she did not support him and she did not validate him. A couple of things here. Let's unpack it. Number one, I've said this, and this is just obviously my opinion. I do think that Tom Sandoval has an issue with strong, opinionated women who kind of see through his facade, right? He had an issue with Stassi. He had an issue with Kristen at the end of their relationship because she finally found her voice. Because I believe, like prior to Vanderpump Rules, Kristen probably had Tom Sandoval on a pedestal. You know, she was worshiping him for the first 2 years. You know, he was very much like the big person in the relationship and she was much more into him. Obviously, that dynamic changed. The relationship became very toxic, right? He had a big issue with Lala, you know, with that whole situation. She saw through him. She's a very opinionated, she's a very strong woman. And then I think with Ariana, I think very similarly with the Kristen relationship, I think that's very similar. I think in the beginning of the relationship, Ariana definitely put Tom Sandoval on a pedestal. Do you know what I mean? She definitely was like, he's the bee's knees. He's everything. I'm going to play the cool girl. He's this, she's that. I'm the struggling actress, blah, 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 blah. And then I think once they actually got in the relationship, you know, the honeymoon fades. She kind of got over it, you know, got over putting him on the pedestal. She found her voice, came into her own, and he didn't like it. That's what I think is going on with that. Now I think that it's very similar to him and Raquel. She's putting him on a pedestal. She's big Bambi eyes. Everyone is against her. She's, you know, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh my God, Tom Sandoval is amazing. He has abs. He's in a band. He has a restaurant. He has a mansion, blah, blah, blah. So he's drawn to women when they seem to be inferior or subservient or submissive or lesser than him. That to me seems to be the dynamic. I think Ariana really did support him. I think she really did validate him. You know, she was at the shows, she was going to the parties, all of that stuff. Where I think the contempt comes in, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to share it. Do you guys remember? I forgot what season it was, but it was when Ariana got the book deal. She got the cocktail book deal, right? And Tom Sandoval got in his feelings. And he was like, if anybody should have a book deal, it should be me. That's what everyone says, you know, Jax and Stassi and blah, 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 blah. Everyone says that if anyone's going to get a cocktail book, it should be me. And how he kind of like, you know, bulldozed her into making it a co-cocktail book when it was her book. It should have been her book, right? Then we had the scene when it was her and Lala and Tom. And she's talking to Tom and she's like, you're not going to upstage me. You're not going to take the attention away from me. And he kind of gets in his little feelings and he has a little temper tantrum and he starts to like roll his eyes. And she's like, don't effing roll your eyes. What are you rolling your eyes at? Like a little bee, right? Okay, a couple of things there. I think, and this might be an unpopular opinion because I know that meme went everywhere and everybody was like, yeah, Ariana. It might be an unpopular opinion, but rock with me. I think they both were dead ass wrong. I think they both were very wrong in that situation. Tom Sandoval was wrong. He was being egotistical. He was being, you know, whiny and like a child. I should have the book and not you. It should be mine. Me, 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 me. Dead wrong. He should have 100% just said, wow, that's such a great opportunity for you. I'm so happy for you. How can I support you? This is great. And then if he wanted to do a cocktail book, go do your own book. Knock yourself out. You know, anybody can have a book. I've written books. Everybody can get a book. You get a book, you get a book, you get a book, you get a book, right? Everybody can get a book. That is what he should have done. So he was dead wrong for trying to, just like she said, get the attention from her, steal her thunder, undermine her, be a little whiny, whatever. But where I think she was dead wrong, and I think sometimes it gets blurred when the genders switch, I think she was dead wrong for the way that she completely emasculated him. And this is going to sound big, but I actually thought that scene was very verbally abusive. I did. I thought it was very, very verbally abusive. I think, yes, I think he was wrong. I'm not saying he was right. He was dead wrong. But I also think she was dead wrong. Because if the tables were turned, and if it was Tom sitting there to Ariana saying, "You're not going to upstage me. You're not going to get the attention. Don't roll your eyes. Oh, you're sitting there like a little bee." We would have been up in arms. Up in arms, right? Up in arms. I thought it was equally verbally abusive. If my partner ever, privately or publicly, said that to me, we would no longer be together. Don't you like a little bee and you're not going to do this and all of this stuff, and Lala sitting there like this. In that moment, I wasn't like, yeah, Ariana. I was like, wow, this couple is really dysfunctional, toxic, and unhealthy on both of their parts. So I get where he's saying he had contempt for her. I get where he's saying that the relationship became one of convenience. However, he is also at fault in creating that unhealthy, toxic dynamic between the two of them, because she was right. You're not going to take this away from me, even though he did, all of that stuff. To me, they both were dead wrong. And it was a communication issue. They should have been in therapy. They should have been able to learn how to communicate with each other. Do you know what I mean? I think they both are dead wrong in that. And it does seem like the relationship did become one of convenience, for the show, this, that, and a third. However, I also think that he is still gaslighting her. Because this is the thing. There's one thing for your relationship to become almost like glorified roommates, or, friends who live together, or whatever the case may be, full of contempt, full of that. If you do not say to your partner, "We are done, we are over," then you're not broken up. So subsequently, whatever you do within that relationship is still on you. So Tom, you're still dead wrong for cheating on her, in my opinion, with multiple women. You're still dead wrong for definitely cheating on her with Raquel for how many months, a year, whatever the case may be, doing all that weird crap you guys were doing with the necklaces and Halloween and sweatshirts, all that weird cuckoo for Cocoa Puff psychotic stuff you were doing. Everything you're saying to Ariana may be true, but it does not invalidate the fact that what you and Raquel did was disgusting, narcissistic, egotistical, and sociopathic. There are a lot of relationships out there that are convenient. There are a lot of relationships out there that are contentful, but you don't have people doing what the two of you did. It's disgusting. Exactly, the court of public opinion says Tom is a closet misogynist. 100%. 100%. Anytime the girl feels beneath him, he's into her, it's cool. The moment she finds her voice, it flips. It flips. And what he does, as we've seen with all three of these women, when he's with the girl, when it flips, then the girl he's with next, the side piece, he what's the word I'm looking for? Maligns, right? Oh, Kristen Doute's crazy. She's psychotic. She's crazy. Oh, Ariana, it's convenient. It's contentful. She doesn't validate me. We don't have sex anymore. He always makes it like something is wrong with the other person in order to validate the psychotic stuff that he is doing. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. If you are not happy in your relationship, get out of it. Point blank, period. Just because you're unhappy does not give you a free pass to disrespect, embarrass, and humiliate people. It says more about you that you don't have the emotional intelligence, the confidence in self, the sheer decency to end a relationship. Instead, you drag it out and you hurt other people because you're not man enough to end it. That's basically what it is. It's ridiculous. And again, you don't have to say all that stuff. All right, now let's continue. While Kristen hasn't seen Ariana since she returned from Mexico, where she attended a friend's wedding, she told Nick that Ariana has told her it was really nice to get away. She's not quite ready to come back to, real life, but the conversation that we've essentially been having with her is like she's very nervous and afraid for the first time she's going to have to sit alone with these thoughts and like truly deal with the reality of it all post filming, Kristen explained. I told her, I get it, but you don't have to be there right now. There's no timeline. Don't force yourself. Yeah, I mean, that is really scary. Right now she has a lot of distractions. She has friends and support systems. They're filming. She's going to Mexico. But when the friends have to get back to their lives, when filming stops, when, we move on as bloggers in the media and there's another scandal going on, she's going to have to sit with everything that happened. How did she spend the last 10 years of her life? How do you trust not just other people, but how do you trust yourself again after something like this? Because again, Tom, just because your relationship was unhappy does not take away from the hurt and the betrayal and the embarrassment that you inflicted upon her. Because I think Ariana knew something wasn't right in her relationship 100%, but I also think she was kind of in denial, which is totally human, totally normal. And I also think she had hope. And I think that is what hurts the most, because if we watch the episodes, she sounds hopeful. She's like, yeah, we haven't been having sex, but now that the restaurant's open, now maybe we'll have more time for each other. We haven't been able to see each other, but now we will. She sounds hopeful. She sounds like she wants to get her relationship back on track. And don't forget, when the rumor came out that her and Tom were in an open relationship, because he was out here dipping it and doing it, not just with Raquel, but with other women, allegedly. She had to come out here and be like, no, we don't have an open relationship. I'm bisexual, not polyamorous. She was windmilling for her relationship when all of us were like, oh, okay. Okay. We get it, Ariana. I do think she had hope. I think she knew they had problems, but I think she didn't think it was going to go this way. Do you know what I mean? So I feel really bad for her. I really do. I really, really do. Okay, let's keep going. Moving on to Raquel. Kristen said she can see why Tom chose to cheat on Ariana with Raquel, who makes him feel cool and talented. Exactly. Ariana has a backbone, Raquel does not. Raquel validates everything that Tom needs to be validated from. Kristen shared, as noted by page 6, proceeding to slam Tom's stupid band and his sequin pants and his nail polish and his dumb haircut and the weird mustache. As for Ariana's communication with Raquel, Kristen said they've definitely not spoken since Ariana confronted Raquel about her affair with Sandoval on the phone. The network asked production at one point if Ariana would film with her, Kristen claimed. Production had her back. They were like, it's not happening. The reunion will be bad enough for her, she added. Bloop, 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 bloop. Damn. But I want to know what you guys think. Stick around, Candy Games. We got a couple more articles and stories to go through, and then I want to take your Candy Cane questions and comments. But before we do that, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend, because a kiki is always better with community. And check out the description box down below. Join our newsletter. It's 100% for free, and you get a ton of free self-care and wellness. So with that, you guys, let's move on to our next story. Okay, so this one is from Reality Blurb. And I got some thoughts on this. And we're going to get into it. So it says, photo of Tom and Raquel looking super close on boys' night is leaked as Vanderpump Rules producers obtain video and James Kennedy reacts. Okay, now let's get into the article, and then I'm going to tell you what I think is really going on here and why I think that Sheena Shea's friends, they're wrong for this. They're all the way wrong for this. Ariana, if you're listening, these people are not your friends, but let's keep going. Podcast host Jamie Lynn has turned over an August of 2022 video she shot of Tom Sandoval and Raquel looking cozy to Vanderpump Rules producers. After discussing the video on the March 14th episode of Jamie All Over, Jamie confirmed the series is in possession of the clip and encouraged viewers to stay tuned as a screenshot of Sandoval and Raquel sitting together in a parking lot looking super close and super intimate was teased. Now, that is what's on the screen from the Real Moms of Bravo. You can see them together looking very comfy, looking very cozy. And if you can't read it, don't worry, I will read everything for you guys, okay? On March 16th, the Real Moms of Bravo on Instagram posted a message to their followers, along with a series of DMs and the screenshot of the suspicious video. Quote, Sheena's friends revealed on the Jamie All Over podcast that the affair allegedly started on Boys Night, the outlet wrote. At the time, Jamie recorded a video of Tom and Raquel that felt intense. She didn't share it because she didn't want to stir the pot over something that could be innocent. In the accompanying DMs, Jamie was asked if she would share the video of Sandoval and Raquel. The show has it and I signed a release, so stay tuned, Jamie replied. Just disappointed my funny voiceover will probably be muted, she continued. So I just look like a stalker, but the comedic portion would no longer be appropriate to play along, so I get it. Okay, a couple of things on this one. A couple of things. Number one, I don't understand why Jamie Lynn and the other podcast person, their name was Raquel, Kael. I don't know if that's a guy or a girl, so I'm going to say I don't know what their pronouns are, so sorry. Kael. I don't understand where they get off saying that the affair started after Boys Night in August of 2022. That to me makes zero sense. Literally zero sense. Just because that was a particular night that you so happen to wake the F up and see what was in front of your face of Tom Sandoval and Raquel being inappropriately intimate does not mean that was the start of the affair. Like, that to me is super confusing. Like, where are they getting that logic from? Number one, if you actually watched the last episode, Tom Sandoval looked like the cat that caught the cream. He was so excited. He was amped when Raquel walked up the stairs at the Mondrian with Charlie at Boys Night. That was not the look of someone who just so happened to start an affair hours later after. That was a look of someone who saw his booty call, who saw his side chick, who saw his main piece girl walk up. This is in August of 2022, guys. So I don't know why they're saying that's when the affair started. Also, if the affair started that night, they're pretty brazen and bolden for starting. I feel like when you start an affair, it's very quiet and incandescent. And then the more the affair goes on, the more brazen you get, the more bold you get, the more reckless you get. But in the beginning, it's kind of like, wait, what's going on? Oh no, we can't do this. But if they're literally sitting there and you're sitting there with your camera, like a creeper, videotaping them when you're saying you're friends with them, that doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't make any sense. Also, if you watch the episode, when Sheena says, oh yeah, talking about Raquel and Charlie leaving Vegas to come back to LA, Tom Sandoval already knew. He was like, yeah, Raquel and Charlie are coming back, which to me means he's already been in contact with them because he's already been in contact with Raquel like that. Also, don't forget, we had the April 2022 Coachella situation going on. April is like how many months ahead of August? April, May, June, July, August, 5 months. So 5 months prior to this little video being taken, it was all the rumors that Raquel was seen hooking up, kissing Tom. Everyone's just defaulted to Tom Schwartz. As we know now, it was Tom Sandoval. That was in April of 2022. So how is it that they're spotted in April of 2022 making out at Coachella, but then these people on this podcast who are claiming to be Sheena Shay's friend is saying that it started in August of 2022, 5 months later? Doesn't make sense. What they should have said was, we noticed red flags. We noticed them getting cozy. We noticed it. We started to see it on this August night in 2022. Not that is when the affair started. That doesn't track. It doesn't make sense logically either. Also, if their logic is like, oh, Raquel was pissed off because the girls, weren't being welcoming to her on the Vegas Strip. So when she came back, because she felt like they were more her friends, why would she sleep with Tom Sandoval, who is Ariana's boyfriend, if she's pissed at Katie, Lala, and Christina Kelly? When Ariana is the only other person other than Sheena who honestly gave Raquel the time of day. She was super supportive to her. They did shopping trips. She was there for her with the James stuff, all of that stuff. They were good. They were kikiing. They were vibing. They were fine. Quiet as kept, Ariana was still even really nice to Raquel, even Raquel was saying she wanted to hook up with Tom Schwartz. So that doesn't track. If the affair wasn't going on when that happened, it seems like Raquel would have in real life, because obviously we know her and Tom Schwartz was nothing but a red herring, smokescreen, pawn situation. In real life, she would have went for Schwartz, because that would have got at Lala, that would have got at Christina Kelly, that would have got at Katie, the girls who she is saying don't like her. So that logically doesn't make sense either. So I'm super confused with how they're trying to spin this narrative that the affair allegedly started on boys' night. None of that makes any type of sense to me. I think the affair between Tom Sandoval and Raquel started bare minimum April of 2022. They were spotted at Coachella kissing. So bare minimum, it started at Coachella, even though I think it probably started before. Probably started as an emotional affair, and then at some point it turned physical. 100%. Like, I don't know where they're getting their timeline from, but to me, it doesn't make any sense logically, right? Also, I think this Jamie person and her other friend, they're dead ass wrong for this. And I would be really pissed if I was Ariana. And I'm going to tell you why. They're like, oh, we thought it was weird, but maybe it wasn't. So we didn't share it. We didn't say anything. But yet you kept it? If you're claiming that you're friends with Ariana and you see her man in an inappropriate situation with a girl who's claiming to be her friend and you say nothing to her, fine. Maybe you don't want to get involved. Maybe you like, it's none of my business. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. I don't want to stir the pot. Cool. But why did you keep the video? We are now in March of 2023. You took this video in August of 2022. So you kept this on your camera roll. You kept this on your, Google Photos. You kept this in your albums. But yet you didn't actually show it to her. But now there's an opportunity to capitalize on it. Now you want to show it to the entire world, but you didn't think it was right to show it to her? Oh, come on. Oh, come on. I would be pissed at these people. And I would be like, you're not my friend. You're an opportunist, just like Raquel Rachel is. You're an opportunist. You catch on camera what you in your gut know is an inappropriate interaction between my man and someone who claims to be my really good friend, and you don't tell me anything, but you hold on to it. And then not only do you leak it on your podcast for clicks and views, but then you also hand it over to production. But yet you didn't think it was a good idea to tell me. But we're friends, right? Please, 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 please. Like, because this is the thing that gets me. Why did you keep the video? Why did you keep it? Were you waiting for a moment to sell it? Were you waiting for a moment to leak it? Were you waiting for a moment like this? Why did you keep it? You know what I mean? You got to really think about what people are actually really doing out in these streets. Why did you keep the video? I'm not keeping an inappropriate video in my phone, unless I plan to use it at some point. And that's exactly what we're doing, because I had no clue about this Jamie person and this Kyle person and their podcast. I guess they're trying to be stand-up comedians because they're, plugging all of that stuff, signing release forms and giving it to production and all of that stuff. So you had no problem giving it to production, but you felt you didn't have you didn't want to tell Ariana because you didn't want to stir the pot. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. And that's how people, that's why you got to be really careful with the company that you keep. She had these people around her keying with her, probably coming to shows, probably being extras on the set, probably being at her house, and the whole time they knew Raquel and Tom were probably smashing and didn't tell her a damn thing, just kept the evidence on their phone until they were ready to capitalize on it. That to me is very dirty. And my question to them is, did you share this video with Ariana before you shared it with the world? Before you shared it on your podcast? Before you shared it with production? Did you ever actually share it with Ariana? That would be a big question I would have. And this is when the affair allegedly started, you're clout chasing. That's the word I'm looking for. They're clout chasing. You're clout chasing. The affair did not start on boys' night. I don't think anybody with half of a brain cell would think that. The affair clearly started way before that. Clearly. It's ridiculous. Clout chasing. You got to be really careful with the company that you keep. And Ariana, I'm telling you, you say you have this great support system. You might want to reevaluate who you have around you. You really do. Because if these were my so-called friends, they would be dead to me. You're blocked. You're not coming over. We're done. We're done. Okay. Now let's keep going. All right. On her podcast, Jamie recalled the time she spent with the Pumpers cast on boys' night. Raquel and Sandoval were just sitting on the curb outside of Saddle Ranch just talking. Saddle Ranch is it's a very kitschy restaurant. It's on Sunset Boulevard. You can ride the bull in there. It's very Western or whatever. Okay. And it's close to the Mondrian, which is where boys' night happened. It's on the same Sunset Strip. Okay. I didn't realize that at the time, how close they were talking or how intimate it actually looked. So I started filming the two of them talking. Girl, why are you lying? You started filming them talking because you thought it didn't look suspicious? Then why are you filming them? See, I don't trust these people. I don't trust these people. She recalled noting that she and her friends were clueless about what was going on between Raquel and Sandoval at the time. If you were so clueless, why were you filming them? And if it was just this innocent conversation, as you're alleging, why did you keep the video? See, you got to think about this. I had this thought at the time. I thought, I'm not posting this because this looks way too intimate. And I don't want Ariana to feel a certain way about this, she continued. I didn't want her to feel disrespected. Okay, you didn't want her to feel disrespected, yet you kept the video, yet you talked about it on your podcast, yet you gave it to production. But you didn't want Ariana to feel disrespected. Or, like any logical person would deduce, you were holding on to it for an opportunity to clout chase, which is exactly what you're doing right now. Why did you keep the video? Let's keep going. Although Jamie didn't think anything of Raquel and Sandoval's closeness at the time, she said the clip could have given Ariana a reason to be concerned. Talking out of both sides of your mouth. I thought nothing of it. Ariana could be concerned. Also on Instagram this week, Raquel's former fiancé, James Kennedy, was seen reacting to a screenshot of Sandoval's reaction to Raquel's participation in Boys Night on Pump Rules. After the Queens of Bravo, via Bravo Betch, said the smile on his face when Raquel walked in spoke volumes, James agreed. It really did, he wrote. Exactly. The way Tom Sandoval looked when Raquel walked up there is a look of somebody who's already smashed. Not a look of someone who's like, I'm conflicted. Is tonight the night I'm going to blow up my 9-year relationship for Rachel Raquel? Is it going to happen tonight? No, that was a look at somebody who's like, oh, I'm smashing tonight because my side piece just walked in the door. While his actual girlfriend was back at home crying and grieving the loss of her beloved dog that she had for half of her life. Come on now. Come on. But of course, I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. Are you like me and you're just like, I don't know who these people are, this Jamie podcast person and Kyle? Go back under the rock from which you came from, because right now you're just clout chasing at the expense of Ariana. And I'm not being hypocritical because I talk about Bravo housewives and all that stuff. I'm not clout chasing on this story. I'm just giving my opinion about what's happening. I don't pretend I'm not friends with these people. What these people are doing is dead wrong. You were out with your so-called friends and you taped them in a moment that you knew was shady, and you said nothing to her about it. You kept it in your phone and you showed it to the world when you knew you could capitalize on it. That's why you're a clout chaser. So put it down below. Let me know what you guys think, okay? And stick around, Candy Canes. We got 2 more stories, and then I'm going to open it up to questions and comments, okay? But before you do that, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend, because a kiki is always better with community. Check out the description box down below and join our newsletter. It is 100% for free. You also get free self-care and self-love and wellness content when you do. So with that, you guys, let's dive right on into our next story. All right. So this is all of the controversy with Charlie and Christina Kelly. And this is according to Reality Blurb. It says, Charlie Burnett defends herself after standing up for Raquel on Vanderpump Rules. Shades her and hints convos would go differently now. Now, this is the thing. I've never been a big Charlie fan. She kind of gives like try hard a little bit. You know what I mean? I've never like, she kind of is just like there to me. But I think what she said this episode 100% does not age well, given everything we know now. But we have to remember that she did set Raquel in her place the episode right before that. When Raquel was like, yeah, I've been talking to Allie about James and him sleeping with Lala. And she was like, yeah, that's not really your place, boo-boo. You know, what are you really doing? So hindsight's 2020, but let's get into it. Charlie Burnett defended herself after standing up for Raquel on the latest episode of Vanderpump Rules. In multiple scenes, the star had her friends back at Lala and Kate as Lala and Katie went hard against her, claiming Raquel can't be trusted around men. Well, turns out they were right. And I don't even think that Lala and Katie were going that hard against Raquel. It was kind of just like, I am literally still legally married to this man. Sure, we're getting divorced. Sure, we're separated. I've known you for 5 years. You've been in my circle. You've been in my face. You've been in my house. And you have the audacity to look me in my face and tell me you want to get with my ex-husband, who's not even my ex-husband yet. Because Katie Maloney's mom was like, they're not even legally divorced yet, you know? And this is another thing. There's also a special place in hell for Raquel for this. She had the narcissism, the psychosis, the sociopathicness of it all, whatever you want to call it, and I'm not talking about last episode, I'm talking about the episode before, to say with a straight face that she had wanted to hook up with, and she asked Tom Schwartz to make out in front of Katie's mother. How come nobody's talking about that psychoness? It's one thing to be as diabolical and narcissistic and just totally gross, like girl to girl, woman to woman. But when you have the audacity to say that in front of somebody's mother, that's a whole different level. And she had no level of remorse, no level of like shame or guilt or anything. You know what I mean? She just said it like, yeah, time is short, and I asked him to make out. And then that's when the mom was like, well, I'm going to step in, as Mama Bear here. I would have been mortified, mortified if I was in the situation where I was sitting across from someone who I had known for 5 years, been in their house, broke bread with them, eaten with them, traveled with them, and they are going through a divorce and their mother is sitting right there. And I had to say that I had the audacity to try and get with this man. I would be mortified. I would feel disgusted with myself. I would feel mortified. I would be embarrassed. I wouldn't even say it. I would be like, you know what? I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I had a lapse in judgment. I don't know. Maybe I was blacked out. You know what I mean? Like, I would have been like, I wasn't myself. Did I drink a lot that day? I don't know. I was having an episode. I had a migraine, blood sugar. I don't know. I got diabetes. Like, I would have been saying everything to not be so mortified at that behavior. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what Raquel's relationship to Katie was, you need to have a level of self-respect. Respect yourself enough, Raquel, to not be this weird dingbat pass-around chick. Respect yourself enough. Because no matter what the situation is with Tom and Katie, at the end of the day, you're the one looking crazy as hell. Respect yourself enough not to be that chick. I would have been mortified. I wouldn't have said the words out of my mouth if somebody's mother was sitting there. And Raquel she didn't care. She had no type of anything. Disgusting. All right, that was a side note. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep going. Many fans believe Lala and Katie's statements were prophetic, considering the recent scandal involving Raquel's reported affair with Tom Sandoval amid his relationship with castmate Ariana Madix. Viewers watched the episode through the lens of the scandal, and many of them attacked Charlie for her defense of Raquel. After the episode aired, Charlie took to Twitter and addressed the controversial scenes. Oh, wow. Would these convos go differently now, wrote the star, shared by @Queens of Bravo Plus. She went on to say, I hate when people aren't honest to be honest. I feel incredibly silly on some things, Avi, knowing what I know now. I can take the accountability on my end always. Charlie continued, but what I won't apologize for is always being a good and honest girls. Even I feel like dumb for believing someone. I pride myself always on being a good friend, she added, especially to the women around me. I am only responsible for my words and actions if they ever hurt anyone. As of now, Raquel appears to be radioactive as more and more friends continue to drop her. Has Charlie joined the pack? Perhaps her current stance will be addressed on the upcoming reunion. Well, Charlie already joined the pack because she already unfollowed Raquel when everything broke, right? And she was saying how nobody deserves that gut punch. And she was getting into the little heated argument with Raquel's sister when they were lying on Sheena about all that stuff, about the punch. Now, this is the thing. A couple of things. Number one, I don't know why Charlie's on the show. I think Charlie is on the show as a filler. Like, when they need to have certain conversations that move certain stories, they'll be like, Raquel, go talk to Charlie while folding napkins to just like fill in the pieces. Raquel, go on a hike at Runyon Canyon with Katie to fill in the pieces. She's just kind of filler. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't really know what's going on in her life. She's not in a lot of scenes. She's kind of just a filler person to move the story along, if that makes sense. And then she comes to Vegas, and obviously she's on Lala's side. Now, this is the thing, Charlie. You're literally just sort of like tofu. You're just there and you observe what's going on. I'm not even coming at you, Charlie, at all. I'm really not. But I'm more concerned with what you said about Christina Kelly than you defending than you defending Raquel, because we all have the wherewithal to understand that in the moment, obviously you did not know the true context of what was going on. You did not know that Raquel was smashing Sandoval, right? We didn't know that. So we're going to give you grace on that. But why were you coming for Christina Kelly? Like, oh, now she sells lip gloss like she used to be on the show. Like, first of all, Charlie, what do you sell? Do you have a makeup line? Do you have a bag line? Do you have anything going on that we can talk about? So instead of getting on the show and using your 5 minutes, not even 15, but 5, and trying to take down another woman in her business who literally has never even uttered your name, I don't think Christina Kelly even knows what your name is, boo boo, and try and take down her business, why don't you take that energy and start your own business? Where's your lip line? Where's your hat collection? Where's your 3-wick candle? Start your own stuff. Where's your cocktail book? That's what always gets me. When people get on these shows and they have a little bit of time and they spend their time tearing other people down. Like, for example, if that was me and I was on Vanderpump Rules and I was on there for my little 5 minutes, I would be like, oh, you guys, I got a book, I got a podcast, I got horses, I got this, blah, 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 blah. The last thing you would catch me doing would be spending my precious airtime tearing down another woman who doesn't even show me dust. Christina Kelly doesn't pay you dust, Charlie. What was the smoke for? Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Not to bring it back to Lisa Rinna, but all roads lead to Beverly Hills. It's the same exact thing. Lisa Rinna, you had your little time. In Aspen, instead of promoting your Rinna wines, what did you do? You spent your little time trying to take down Kathy and her tequila. Turns out your little shenanigan, your little whatever the hell you were doing in Aspen made her tequila blow up. Casa de Sol. Now everybody's talking about Casa de Sol. Where can you get it? Blah, 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 blah. So you used your airtime to tear somebody down rather than promoting what you actually have going on. So miss me with that one, Miss Charlie. But I will give you a pass for the Raquel stuff because you didn't know the context of everything going on. However, you still was on the losing team. It was still the wrong road. Whether you knew she was cheating with Tom Sandoval or not, Raquel's behavior was whack as hell. It was whack. Saying she wants to hook up with Tom Schwartz. All this, that, and the third. Now, the other things, I am going to play devil's advocate on this one because I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one. I didn't personally think there was anything wrong with Raquel's little nightlight. I actually thought it was really cute. I didn't think it was anything wrong with Raquel getting, wasty face and making out. I didn't think there was anything wrong with Raquel being, super drunk and eating the leftovers and laughing. Nothing wrong with that. It was a vibe. It was a vibe. What killed the vibe, though, I think was the competition over Oliver between Lala and Raquel. And again, this might be an unpopular opinion. Don't come at me, guys. We can agree to disagree. But I actually have to give a point to Raquel on this. I do like Lala, but the reason why I'm giving a point to Raquel on this, if I'm being honest, I do think Lala felt some type of way because Oliver picked Raquel over her. I do. Do I think that was the foundation? Do I think that was the crux of the beef? Absolutely not. Raquel and Lala have been beefing forever. Pretty much since James was like, this is my new girlfriend, Lala had a problem. Raquel had a problem. Their beef is systemic and it goes on back 5 or 6 years, however long they've been together and all of that stuff. But do I think that there was a part of Lala that felt some type of way? 100%. 100%. It's human nature. 2 women, 2 beautiful women, and there's a hot guy and they both are interested in them. And then the guy picks one over the other. I don't care who you are, insert whoever you are, you're going to feel a type of way about that. You're going to feel a type of way. But I don't think that negates the fact that Raquel was moving very sloppily and moving very messy. Do you see what I'm saying? I think both things can be true. I do think that Raquel could have been moving really messy and sloppy and was making it a competition. And I also think that Lala could have felt some type of way because Oliver made out with Raquel instead of her. That's just human nature. If me and my friend were into a guy I may not want to marry the guy and move and like fall in love, but if we're both into him and we're out and it's fun and he's more into her and makes out with her, I might feel a little like, oh, okay. I'm gonna feel a little like, a little slighted, not in a deep, serious way. It's not that deep, but it's human nature. So I'll give her a point for that one. They were messy as hell though, leaving Vegas and going to the Mondrian. Also, they made really good time. I want to know production how they cut this up because Vegas is about 4 hours from LA. They made really good time. I guess if they left that morning and they drove, that morning to the early afternoon and then that night they went and met them, sure, I'll give it to them that everything was being filmed the same day of, I guess. But they made really good time. I'll give them that. I'll give them that. Made really good time. But ooh. But yeah. Okay. Now let's see here. Dun 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 dun. All right. So put it down below. Let me know what you guys think. Instagram my candy canes. We got one more story and then I'm opening it up to questions and comments. All right. So put it down below. What do you think about this? Do you think, okay, Charlie, we're going to give you a little bit of grace because you didn't know the full picture, but at the same time, like you kind of need to stay in your lane, boo-boo. You're a filler character. You don't need to be going after Christina Kelly. She didn't send for you. So don't come for her. Get your own makeup line going so you don't have to hate on another woman's hustle. Christina Kelly, honestly, is really sweet, really nice. And she foreshadowed everything. She called Raquel out from jump. And I'll tell you why, too. Another reason why Christina Kelly called out Raquel is because Christina Kelly is also really, really good friends with Stassi. Super, 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 super close. Stassi, and I know she's problematic, which really breaks my heart because I actually really love Stassi, but I just can't get over the faith thing. We don't need to get into it. We don't need to go all the way down to hell. It breaks my heart though. Anyway, let's keep going. So Christina Kelly is really, really, really good friends with Stassi. Stassi, from day one, had Raquel's number. She also never really trusted her. So I get why Christina Kelly had that same viewpoint about Raquel because her and Stassi shared that viewpoint. Now, where I think Katie Maloney got blinded is with her contempt for Sheena. I think she let her contempt from Sheena trump her logic. Right? Just like Christina Kelly said, you're giving Sheena too much credit on this. Raquel is a grown woman. At this point, she's 28 years old. She's a grown woman making these choices and moving grimy the way she's moving. And to be perfectly honest, who is actually listening to Sheena Shea? Sheena Shea is not controlling anybody. Sheena Shea is nobody's puppet master. Raquel was doing what Raquel wanted to do. And to make even this point even stronger, remember a couple episodes ago when they were at Tom Short's apartment and it was Sheena and Brock and Raquel and Tom? And even Tom said to Raquel, hey, you know what? Maybe we need to kind of cool down and lay off of like the flirtation a little bit. Like even Tom was being like, you know what? This little stick that we're doing, this little cover up, it's getting out of hand. Like let's maybe, a little bit. And Raquel was like, no, it doesn't mean anything. We can have fun, whatever, blah, 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 blah. It's Raquel. She's a grown-ass woman. You can't blame Sheena for the things she's doing. But I do think Katie's contempt for Sheena blinded her to what was actually going on in front of her face. Okay? 100%. All right, you guys. Now, here we go. All right, before we go to our next story, you guys know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend because the key is always better with community. And check out the description box down below and join our newsletter. It is 100% for free. You get self-care and self-love and wellness content. So with that, let's move on to our next story. This one is from TMZ. It says exclusive. Vanderpump Rules Raquel avoiding show's cameras, only shot once since scandal broke. Vanderpump Rules fans hoping to see behind the scenes drama from Raquel's perspective on the cheating scandal might be disappointed. So far, she's barely speaking on camera, TMZ has learned. Sources close to production tell TMZ show honcho scrambled to get camera crews together once we broke the news of the split and the drama that followed. They'd already wrapped for the season, but the new goal is to edit the so-called scandal into later episodes. While we know Tom and Ariana Maddox have been filming, including a scene they shot together in the hours after she found out he was cheating with Raquel, it hasn't been that way with Raquel. Our sources say she's only filmed one scene since the drama broke, a scene with Tom at her apartment in North Hollywood. Since then, she's been staying with family members in hopes things would die down. Okay, before we get into that, let's break this down a scotch, okay? Number one, it still remains to be seen if Raquel is actually going to be on the reunion. There have been multiple stories. One story is that she's going to come by Zoom because of the restraining order she has against Sheena. And then one story is that she's not sure she's going to show up at all. Okay? Also, what I also wanted to talk about was this line in the article. At her apartment in North Hollywood. Since then, she's staying with family members in hopes things would die down. Okay. Now, they're saying that she's staying with family members. This is the thing. These family members are, I think, probably her dad and maybe her mom in that situation. Because don't forget, there was the Dumas blind item that came out that said that her family and her parents wanted her to quit the show. They wanted her to quit the show, get the quote help that she needed, and to come back home. So maybe that's a big reason why, she's not filming as much and she's spending time with family. It seems like they're the ones with the money. They're the ones who hired the legal team that she has, the legal team that's sending cease and desist emails, the legal team that's doing these stupid restraining orders that are absolutely ridiculous and unnecessary. It's the same legal team that used the strategy of the second PR team that fired her because she was fired. If a PR team lets you go or drops you as a client, AKA that means you're fired. But her legal team used their same exact strategy because it was the same exact strategy that was also leaked by Dumas, right? So I think that's why she's not filming. Also, a couple of things. I think that both Tom Sandoval and Raquel overestimated and underestimated in this situation. One, I think they overestimated their own likability. I think they thought they were the coolest. Raquel thought, finally, I'm the HBIC. I'm that it girl. I'm the new girl. I'm the new girl on the show. But not the new girl, but you know what I mean. She thought she was the new Stassi. She was going to take over everybody else. Blah, 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 blah. She thought she was it. She overestimated her place. Tom Sandoval also overestimated his likability. We didn't actually really like him that much before. Maybe in your head, but you weren't, I'm the number one guy in this group. I think he overestimated his own likability. And I think they underestimated Ariana's likability. I think that they thought that the two of them were superior to her. Like they were more likable, they were more famous, they were more this and or that. I think they really underestimated Ariana's likability. Sure, she, cheated with Tom, with Kristen a decade ago, whatever. We got to let some things go at certain points, right? I do think overall Ariana is very, very likable. She's very cool, she's fun, she's doing her thing, all of that stuff. And I think they really underestimated what our investment in her would be. I also think that they underestimated not just their individual personalities as Tom and Raquel and as Ariana, but just the human experience of betrayal, embarrassment, humiliation, and shame. Because yes, it's happening to these three people and subsequently their friends and their family and fans. But overall, in the human experience, when you have one person who you kind of see as sort of long suffering, that's the Ariana type. Then you have the Tom that comes in who completely humiliates her publicly, dogs her out, cheats on her, betrays her, lies to her, doing all that weird stuff with the necklaces and having sex with Raquel in her home and all of that stuff. Then you have the Raquel character that comes in and she's pretends to be your friend and she smiles in your face and she acts all innocent all the while she's busting it open for your boyfriend, two doors down while you're sleeping in your own home, right? That mixture, that storytelling, that experience is so ingrained in our human experience. We've all felt humiliated at times, embarrassed at times, lied to at times, cheated on, betrayed, played, felt to feel and look stupid. How do you trust myself? How do I trust others? How do I trust him? How do I trust her? That is such a not cliche. What word am I looking for? It's not a cliche. It's such a ingrained storyline in humanity. It's classic. It's a classic storyline. Pretty much in all stories, in all love stories, right? There's always the heartache and the heartbreak, right? There's always those key players. And I think that they underestimated what our conscious response to something like this would be. And I think that's a big reason why this story has blown up the way that it did. Another reason why I think that this story has blown up the way that it did, because I was thinking about this. I was like, I get it. He cheated on her and that's really bad. And then they did all this really psycho stuff with like the necklaces and Halloween and having sex in the same house while she was there and it going on in the Tom Schwartz and Katie. I was like, I get it. Like, that's really psycho, but like, why is this story so huge? Like, it's on CNN and it's everywhere. Another part of me thinks that, and I want to know what you guys think about this. I want to know what you guys think. I also think that, America or, whatever collective consciousness you want to call this, I think we've been desperate, and I mean desperate, for some type of salacious story, gossip that really wasn't that deep. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. I think that we've had so much true tragedy going on, whether it's like victims with, Girardi and Jen Shaw, where there's like plane crash victims and there's orphans and there's elderly people being ripped of like their life savings, people going homeless, people want to take themselves out and losing everything. We have, mass, I don't know if I can say the word, like mass shootings, every other day. It's like in a mall, at a school, in the grocery store. There's the war in the Ukraine. There's just so much toxicity going on that I think that we kind of were craving something that was dramatic, that was kind of, salacious. But at the end of the day, the stakes just aren't that high. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the stakes just aren't that high. Like, I love Ariana and my heart goes out to her, but she will get through this. As human beings, we've all had heartache. We've all been played. We've all been cheated on, all of that stuff. The way they did it was disgusting. But unfortunately, to be honest, the way they did it isn't like that's not the first time in the entire world where somebody's friend was busting it open for their boyfriend and they were doing weird stuff behind the scenes, right? Not the first time, won't be the last, right? So the stakes really aren't that high. Ariana's going to come out on top. Just like she said, what doesn't kill me better run. She's going to come out on top. We're going to love her. She has a sandwich shop. She has a great support system. She has our love and support. She has something about her, going on. She can now go out. She can heal from this, work on herself, go back, date a woman, date a man and a woman, do her thing. She will come out on the other side. I know right now it's really sad and depressing and hard, but that's just how heartache is. She's going to go through it, but she'll come out on the other side, So the stakes really aren't that freaking high. They're not. Rachel Raquel is going to go under the rock that she came from. Tom Sandoval is going to go. I'm not going to say what I thought. He's just going to go, I don't know, go tour the Lower East Side somewhere with his whack ass band that he pays for. Who knows? Who cares? The stakes really aren't that high. But it is a story that we all collectively can relate to. Either we've been through it, or we've supported somebody through it, or we've been one of the players, because there are some people who are like, leave Raquel alone, I've made mistakes in my life. It's like, we can still, kiki about Raquel, and you can still be okay for the time you cheated on someone, or you were the side chick, or you were the cheater. Like, it's fine. So I think that's a big reason why this blew up as much as it did. It's been nice. And I don't mean nice in a weird way. I mean it legitimately. It's been kind of nice to like have a huge story that everybody's talking about, that isn't like, this person is a racist, this person is a homophobe, this person sexually assaulted me, this person coerced me, this person has, a mistress that his friend is trying to pass around and exposing himself in a hotel, and is it trafficking, and dirty Diana Jenkins, and child this, and human this. It's been nice. You know what I mean? It's kind of been nice. But with that, you guys, I'm going to get off my high horse, and I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. Why do you think this story blew up the way it did? And also, what do you think about Raquel? Do you think this is really just going to be the end of her? If she's not going to film, if she's not going to come to the reunion, if she's, being litigious and trying to sue people and do bogus restraining orders, how can she stay on the show? How can she stay on the show? You know what I mean? So put it down below. Let me know what you guys think. Stick around my candy canes. I'm going to take some of your candy cane questions and comments. But before I do that, you know what to do. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Also, be sure to share this with a friend, because a kiki is always better with community. And check out our description box down below and join our newsletter. It is 100% for free, and you get a lot of self-care and self-love content. So with that, you guys, go ahead and like the video. All right, I dropped the link in case anybody wants